My name is Jeannie Whitebird. My spirit name is Joanang Vinise Quay, the South Thunderbird woman. And how poignant today, because it seems like that Thunderbird is going to be visiting us shortly. And that Thunderbird gives us healing waters. And that we need that water in order to sustain Mother Earth, and we need that water in order to sustain the Indigenous plants that we have today here in the Indigenous Healing Garden. Anishinaabe, Pishkiki, Gitigan, the People's Medicine Garden. First, we'd like to open up with a bear song, and we have my good friend Melody Owen, and in this bear song, we look to the spirit of the bear to do a lot of our teachings, because that spirit of the bear right now, it's beginning its journey to rest. And at this time, that's what we need to do also. We need to take time to reflect on the work that we've done on creating something like this healing garden, and then we need to rest. So, Melody, please.
I'm a grade 12 student at Selkirk Secondary Regional High School. I was a student in the First Nation, Métis, Inuit Studies class that wrote letters to the city, provincial, and federal governments. It is my honor today to be included in the ceremony today. We have all gathered here today to open up the Mashiki Gitagan Medicine Garden, People's Medicine Garden in the community of Selkirk. In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, we acknowledge that we are in the heart of Treaty 1 territory and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, and Dakota people and the homelands of the Métis Nation. It is now my pleasure to invite Dennis Whitebird, First Treaty Commissioner and previous long-standing chief of Rolling Rivers First Nation, to speak to the traditional Anishinaabe woman named Anishinaabe Mishkiki Gitagan People's Medicine Garden.
Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon. First of all, I've always been told by my elders to introduce myself in my own language. I'm going to do that. Now we're coming going in Bigo. Wakando dem. Kiwada itikanesi being don't you kaya ang ganda na ako dam. Say mag-imi ni Buwan. Ibuwe binasa. I want to thank my little cousin, where is she? Not back here, Jeannie, for giving me the invitation to come and join this special day for the people in this territory. I also want to acknowledge my good friend here, the Basanakut, for the sharing that he's done, with the understanding that we all need to have a common understanding of what we had to endure as people in this territory. And we have come through a lot of trauma with the loss of our land, the loss of our resource, the loss of our way of life. I also want to acknowledge that my little cousin and I come from two different losses. I went through the residential school system, and I spent 12 years in residential school. And that was because of a policy that was pushed by the first Prime Minister of this country, John A. Macdonald. And that policy was kill the Indian in the child. And that meant that we would no longer think in an Indian way, that we would lose our languages, and that we would lose our culture. And that's what we had to live through in residential school. And I want to share the story of my cousin. And the last time that I seen her, when we were in our community, was probably around 1975, 76. And she was picked up by the Children's Aid Society at the time. And she lived away from the community. She was fostered in the United States. And that was the continuation of that policy, kill the Indian and the child. And that's the kind of trauma that we've had to live through. And that's what the first Prime Minister of this country wanted, so that he would be able to take away the land, as Elder the Basanakut talked about. It would be much easier to take away their land, their resource, their way of life. There is a lot of reconciliation that needs to be done. Canada must lead the way for reconciliation. And I'm really glad that the local people, the town of Selkirk, the mayor is here, the citizens of Selkirk are taking that step to pay recognition to the land, to Mother Earth. I'm really glad that I see remnants of who we are as a people, to be able to share a positive story, to be able to share what we have here, the growth of these plants, the medicines that have been planted here. That makes me proud. And you should be proud as well too. And that's the kind of pride, with that knowledge that the Masonic talks about. That's the kind of pride that we want to give back to our children. To be proud of who they are. And that's the kind of pride that makes a community grow.
Larry Johansson, to share a few words about the sacred space that will create opportunities for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people to come together and share ideas about cultural and educational knowledge.
Well, thank you very, very much. I'm honored and I'm humbled to be able to say a few words to you today with the Indigenous leaders. It truly is an honor for me. I'd like to start off by thanking our council and our administration for all their hard work that was put into this beautiful. We've taken a street that has strong history to it, and we've improved it. We've brought it into the 21st century, and with these healing gardens here, it's forging a strong partnership. When Jeannie, who had a hand in painting this mural, and her and I were models for this. Jeannie's with the crutches, and I'm with the supposed to be catfish on my socks. I wondered how the pocket park would turn out. Well, I see today how it's turned out. And as mayor, I'm very happy with this. Very happy.
I now call upon Mark Walgerson, the Lord Selkirk Regional Comprehensive Secondary School First Nation, Métis, and Inuit Studies teacher, Indigenous Student Center teacher, and also Social Studies teacher to say a few words.
How old are son?
Thank you, Hayden, for being here and being MC. So many thoughts came to my mind when I was thinking about what I would say today. I had so many wonderful experiences with Jeannie putting this together. Our conversations on road trips out to Harvest Kinnikinnick and to do so many other things from traveling out to Prairie Originals or going to Shrimers, or all of the things that I heard the stories, the teachings, the importance of this medicine garden. I knew it was important. Many of my students know, and I thank my students from previous classes, those who wrote letters, those who stopped by just to be supportive. Know that I'm passionate about the relationship, reconciliation. It is definitely a huge part of what drives me in being a teacher. I listen to Elder Atkinson, and I listen to Dennis Whiteworth, and I hear your stories, and those stories need to be told in the classroom. And I believe it 100%. And that classroom extends right to this medicine garden. Our connection to each other, and how that relationship can be benefited by understanding. I'd like to end with thanking those that supported us with gifts, time, support for this medicine garden. Places like Prairie Originals, I believe it's CNR Landscaping. I see our Board of Trustees out representing. and your support of our education for these kids is phenomenal. The mayor being here, Dennis, Peter, the students, the community. One of the big things when Jeannie and I started this was with the students to put tobacco and our good intentions with that tobacco into a red cloth and tie it together and put it together to be in a sacred fire. Those good intentions were, I believe, 100% of the time felt by the Creator. Yeah, I'm not a really spiritual man, but I've become more so through this journey, I'll tell you that. Those good intentions have followed us right to this point. And again, massive thank you to the community for being here, because part of that good intention is we wanted this for community. It's not just for my students and their education. It's not just to pay lip service to the treaty obligations. It is for the community. It's a place to be, to feel safe, to visit in times of peace and in times of turmoil, to hopefully be a stabilizing and steady place for you to visit. So hopefully I didn't forget anybody in my thank yous. Go ahead.
For everybody who's come out here today. This is a beautiful sight. This is Selkirk. This is our youth. This is our elders. This is our community. And I am so proud to be here. One of the things I want to speak, or I want to do quickly is I want to offer some tobacco, for everybody to hold on to while. And at the end of this, what we'd like to do is to have everybody put that tobacco around this healing garden, throughout it, because what you're going to do is, like we said to the students, put your spirit and intent into what you're hearing, into what you want out of this. Put that into that as you're holding it. Put that in. And then place it down gently and see what happens. See what can grow out of that. So my friend Karen is passing out. So passing out that tobacco. And that tobacco we have, and it's not the tobacco that you get, in the cigarette package. What we have in that is the kinnikinnick. And what we have in that is the red willow. And we also have in the original tobacco that we grew with the students.